Okay, hey, what's up everybody? So, this is going to be a follow-up to some of the TF2 videos I made before, talking about basic guides, basic strategy, whatever. This is going to be a Ctap introduction video. So, what it's going to entail is a basic explanation of what Ctapping is in the game, a basic demonstration of it, and then going through this whole map. The map I'm currently on is TR Ctap A2. It is the best, most focused way to learn a proper Ctap. One of the things that happens with Ctapping is that because it's such a mechanical automated process you do, like jumping is just so automatic, if you ever learn it wrong, you can get caught. I've had, like, when I was first learning, I had a period of like a month or two where I was in the wrong button press timing, and it really fucked me up for a while, and I had to basically go back and just reset my mind completely in order to get back to it. So my frames aren't going to be the best. I don't really have a great recording setup for TF2, so if you see some weird frames, don't worry about it. Yeah, so let's just get into it. We're going to be looking at three parts. Like I said, one, an explanation, two, like an isolated demonstration, and then three, we're going to go through the whole map. So an explanation of Ctapping. What is a Ctap? So first off, what a Ctap is an extended jump. Why it's extended, I'm not entirely sure. I have my own personal understanding of it, but I don't know the mechanics of it. I haven't looked into like the data, I guess, like the coding, like what's going on with the coding of the game. So basically, it's a way to jump further than a normal rocket jump, period. That's all it does. Well, that's not all it does, but that's the end result of the Ctap is you go further, you go higher. If you're using the rocket launcher, you'll go further due to the nature of looking down back. And with an original, it's harder to get forward momentum, so you'll end up going higher doing a Ctap with an original. It's one of the many reasons why I prefer the rocket launcher for jumping in general, is because the Ctapping is way more fluid. But if you are using an original and you try to Ctap, remember you will get more upwards momentum and distance than you will forwards, so make sure that you know that when you're using it. So yes, it's a longer rocket jump. So more specifically, what it does is it increases your, I want to say, momentum or movement speed. Basically, when someone Ctaps at you, there'll be this moment of it looks like a normal jump, and then they go further than they should, and their character kind of speeds up. It's hard to explain, but when you see somebody Ctap against you, they'll have a distorted path. Normally, when someone jumps and you're going to like airshot them or something, or just hit them out of the air or predict where they're landing, they have a set, unless they're strafing to dodge, unless they're going, snake or circles or anything, they're going in a set like parabola, a set arc. And Ctaps have a different arc than a normal rocket jump, because they go further. And so it really fucks you up. If you're like doing MGE or doing any battling at all in TF2, a Ctap can make people miss you. It could get you hit by accident, but most of the time people will completely miss their prediction, read on where you're going to land and where you are in the air, which gives you increased. It also, because you're going faster and further, you have higher air mobility, which makes strafing better, and it's just, the implications of having a longer distance rocket jump are innumerable. So I just wanted to note that it looks completely different when you Ctap than when you do a normal rocket jump at somebody, and you can tell in game the effects it's having. So I can go over the strengths and weaknesses later. Just for now, we'll talk about the actual mechanics of it. So the first thing you would do is, if you're in a server, you type SV cheats, and I have it on 1, so you put SV cheats on using the console. If for some reason you are super new watching this video, if you want to turn on the console, you go to Advanced and Enable Developer Console, and it's default bound to tilde. So in your developer console, you do SV cheats _1, and then you type third person. This will put you in a third-person mode. It's what is normally happening when you taunt. That resets you. So then you have first person. So third person. So to do a Ctap, the actual buttons that you're going to be pressing is basically just crouch and shoot, but you're doing it in a different way. So first you crouch. This is like a normal crouch, right? If you notice, if I tap crouch, and just so you guys know, I have crouch bound to right-click. This is my Ctapping strat. I find it really difficult with shift, so I bound my crouch to right click. If you're learning Ctapping, right click is really, really fucking good for it. I've been using it for years, so I don't even notice anymore. But you can do it with any button you want. So For some reason, this just feels best. When I tap, regardless, when I tap right click, you can see my screen is moving. Everyone see my screen moves. And my character doesn't crouch. This is what's going on with the Ctap. So basically, if you crouch, you become close to the ground and you can no longer get the jump. And then you die. Let me respawn. So if you get into the full crouch and you try and shoot a rocket, you'll just get a really shitty rocket jump. If you don't do the tap enough, nothing's going to happen. But there's this weird sweet spot where your screen moves down, and it's like the game calculates that you're going into a crouch, but you never crouch. And on the way up from that button press, so on the way up of the screen press, if you do a rocket jump at the right timing, you will get momentum and get a boost of your rocket jump. That's basically what's going on this end. So a normal rocket jump, you get to about there. If I do a Ctap, a good one, see there. That's how you notice. That's how you notice if you fuck up the Ctap is if you go too low. That means you were too close to the ground when you did it. So let me try and get a good one here. It's close. I don't know if you can already tell, but I'm already going higher than before. Like I said, with this rocket launcher, it's not a noticeable upwards increase. But basically, a normal rocket jump gets you to your waist to that. And if you do the Ctap inputs, then you get higher. I'll be able to make it eventually. I'm not good at it in third person. But regardless, you can tell how much higher I'm getting just from going up. So I am holding crouch, right? Anyway, so the way to tell this is by being in third person, and you can actually press down substantially on the mouse before you actually get a crouch off. You can test this and mess around with it yourself. But there's going to be a sweet spot on the way up from this where you're jumping and shooting and you're getting a boost from it. So there's a couple different ways. I can't really explain them. It's really an intuitive thing. It's like really difficult to micro explain, at least for me. I'm understanding on an intuitive level, trying to reverse engineer it. So basically, if you find a rhythm that works for you, do it. You want to use this map because this is basically like the highest point you could reach with a Ctap, which makes it really punishing. You can get different degrees of distance with the Ctap. There's not one answer. So you can get a lower Ctap or a higher Ctap, and they'll still be further than a normal jump. That's why you see like my legs are going up instead of my waist. A normal jump. That was even bad. But yeah, normal rocket jump, basically your waist will get there and you won't get over the top. So yeah, so after you've done this and seen whatever, you go back into first person because how you play, and you'll see this is the same button press. You see how it looks like I'm crouching? My character never crouches. Remember what you just saw. So this is what your screen's going to look like. So basically it's a press and release without ever going into a full crouch. That's the idea. Okay, I think that's the best way to describe it. It's complicated. It's something that you should personally understand for yourself. Because it's TF2 being such a precise and particular game, it's really something to me that you should learn and practice on your own and find your own way of doing. The best thing I can do is give you my understanding of what's going on, and then you can take that for yourself and figure it out. Sure, for some people it's easier than others. For me, it took me a month or two to just get it out. It's really fucking complicated or weird to understand mentally, and then you have to apply it in games. So yeah, so that would be, I would say that's me demonstrating what a Ctap is looking like. So now I'm going to try, with failure of course, try and go through this whole map and show you basically what it will look like completed. So yeah, try not to commentate too much. So me not going high enough, I'm not really entirely sure why. A good thing that you have to also do is hold crouch and it should peek you over, but there we go. So that was it basically. You see how I barely eke over? I've had a Ctap where I get like, I think I did it without crouching over, I don't remember. If you use the original, this one's easier, but like that was a baby or like a lower edge of the Ctap, but understand that this map is really punishing for it. So if you do get over this top, it's basically one of the best you're gonna get. My average Ctap, as you could tell, was consistently not over the top of it. So anyway, The next part, there's 3 stages. This is the next stage. This is a more forward-based Ctap, so it's harder with the original and easier with the rocket launcher. I will also say this map is punishing enough that you should be using like tactics for the map in particular. Like you kind of have to get really close to the edge to do the jump and to make your way over. You basically, yeah, don't just think of it as like, oh, I can stand here and like Ctap the whole thing. You won't make it. You have to actually get all the way to the edge and do it just right, and you'll hit it. So let me see if I can do that one more time, just because that happened a bit fast. It's better to see failures so that you can know what it looks like when it fucks up. So this is probably too high. And then if you're too far back, that was actually really good, but I was too far back, so. Another thing to note is that Ctapping, it really, really is like a skill thing. It's really skill-based. It's not just luck. So practice makes perfect. Setting, timing, positioning, all of those matter. So you could repeat this map over and over again and still not be able to Ctap in game, but you'd get really good at this map. It's that kind of thing. This is not an end-all, be-all, I guess I'd say like, where's my camera unfocused? Genius, perfect, OP, overpowered thing. It is a skill base, it's time invested, it's comfortability, it's like every other mechanic in the game from what I can tell. So this last stage is an in-between, it's up and forward. So this one I would say is like the most common Ctap you would do in game. So to me, if there's any Ctap you get, this would be the most important. What else is there? Like, basically the straight up Ctap is the least relevant. I don't think there's any place in game that you'd actually need to do that. And this one is probably the most practical generically. There you go. So, oh, I should have gone through and shown the normal jump. So if you do a normal jump, let me try and do a really good normal jump. You can see the significant difference of where I'm going. You can tell on my screen how it's like, it's basically impossible to do with a normal jump that's really good. Not basically, it's physically impossible to do. If I ever get the right distance, I'm not high enough in the sky. If I'm ever high enough, I won't get the right distance. Even if I do a perfect one, I won't be able to make it. But if I do a Ctap, then you start to see me getting closer and closer every time until, ideally I hit the perfect spot. And then everything goes well for me, so. I'm gonna make other videos, strengths and weaknesses of the Ctap, or just like talking about it in general. I'll probably just make one other video. So the way I use it, yeah. So that's basically it. Thanks for watching. Well, I'm gonna talk a bit more here, but that's like the meat of the video. So last thing I kind of want to say, just to wrap it up, is that I personally use the Ctap as a augmented jump. What you can do with the Ctap is find specific points on maps. You can look this up, but I'll probably make a video showing some of them anyway. We'll see about it. We'll see. But you can find specific points to do a Ctap, of which using the Ctap will get you from point A to point B, whereas a normal jump wouldn't. And that's like a tactics strategy way of using it. I don't use it like that often. Most of the time, I just Ctap instead of jumping all the time. Like 90% of the time will be Ctapping instead of jumping. And I will use the normal jump to augment my Ctap. So basically I'm Ctapping, which is just buffing my jump completely, lets me jump from further away. And then if I'm ever in an MGE or a 1v1 or something, or just I need perfect distance, I use a normal jump to get a different jump to come out to mess people up or to get a specific point. Having the Ctap allows me to not be constrained. I'm more free. As a soldier, it's a massive mobility boost, which is something they struggle with, I think. It's also safe without gunboats. If you fuck it up, you'll take like half your health without gunboats, but without gunboats, you can get a really big augmented jump, whereas normally the jumping mobility comes from using gunboats and doing double jumps and stuff. If you run shotgun soldier, using a Ctap is something, it's invaluable